You can support your local non-league club or buy a mystery box by checking out the nonleaguefootballshop.co.uk, and upon checkout make sure you use the promo code RDFTactics10 for a 10% discount. Hello and welcome back to the RDF YouTube channel. Today's video is all about total football played by Johan Cruyff. So we're going to focus on his 3-4-3 formation, but for Football Manager we do also have the 4-3-3 tactic alongside two training schedules, but we are now going to get stuck straight into it. When most of his opponents would play a 4-4-2 formation, Johan Cruyff would play a 3-4-3 formation. Johan Cruyff believed a certain way was the best way to win a football match, and that was to dominate your opponents in all areas of the pitch, which led to some eye-catching offensive displays. He believed playing 4 at the back was a waste against 2 strikers, and that extra player could be used elsewhere in a more advanced area. This then allowed his team to form more triangles further up the pitch, aiding the possession game and disrupting the opponent's shape to go on and play the beautiful football. As a player, he played in the Dutch side, then coached by Rinus Michels. He adopted the football brand known today as Total Football, and there shouldn't be any doubt that this had influenced Johan Cruyff. But influenced is a key word, because he made it his own and introduced a 3-4-3 diamond formation known for its offensive display. But there was a disciplined approach to it, and we are now going to look more inside of this. Johan Cruyff wanted to make the pitch as small as possible when out of possession, but he wanted his team to stretch the pitch in possession. This wide positioning often took shape when his team was playing out from the back, and the wide defenders were key as they moved into wider positions to create passing angles. As mentioned before, opponents often played with 2 strikers, and with Cruyff using 3 defenders meant that they could have a numerical advantage when playing out from the back, with it being a 3 versus 2 situation. The single pivot would also be a passing option. He made horizontal movements to collect the ball from the libero if the strikers chose to press, closing down the defenders' passing angles. The central defender also had the license and ability to play the more direct ball. The wide defenders had an interesting rolling system because of the somewhat contradicting task, but ties in to Cruyff's positional play. They're expected to be wide, as this gives options when playing out from the back and allows the 2 wingers to move in centrally, but they also had to understand when they had to come inside and be an extra passing option inside in midfield. Then, the wide attackers would have to stay wide to stretch the opponents. Cruyff was all about positional play. His players had to know when to come short for a pass and when to give their teammates the space they need with the ball. The defensive midfielder was the hub, almost as if the team was moving around him and he kept things ticking. On the ball, he made vertical passes feeding the attacking players, and off the ball, Johan Cruyff described Pep Guardiola, who played in this position for Barcelona under Cruyff, as a master of angles. Ahead of the defensive midfielder are the 2 central midfielders, who had different roles though they were primarily creative players. But one was more of the engine, making forward runs into the channels to stretch the opponents, whilst the other had the job of linking the midfield and the attack, mainly supporting the defensive midfielder in progressing the ball further up the pitch, almost acting as an advanced playmaker. The 2 wingers stretching the pitch and staying wide meant that the central players had space to operate and roam around. The striker wasn't the typical number 9, he was a false 9, which disrupted the opponent's defence because he looked to drop into the midfield and often caused a defender to follow, and this created a gap in the defence. This allowed either one of the wide men to move in centrally or the attacking midfielder to penetrate that gap. But this wasn't heavily relied upon. The attacking midfielder didn't purely focus on getting in behind, because he also had to help overload in the defending team's midfield, creating a 5v4 situation if the opponents played a 4-4-2. Again, gaining a numerical advantage. Off the ball, the attacking players had the job of releasing pressure on the defence, and this meant that they had to engage and press high. This also allowed the defence line to be higher, to remain compact. Being compact also helped their transitional play, as players remained close to each other, and this meant it was easier for them to roam around and swap positions if needed. It was important to win the ball as quickly as the team could, because a long period without the ball could be dangerous and left the team vulnerable. Naturally, having many attacking players meant that they could transition into their press smoothly, and if they had to start their press centrally, they were able to shift their opponents out wide and make the pitch seem smaller for them, which is what Cruyff loved to do, make the pitch look smaller when out of possession but expand it when in possession. Because of the shifting the opponents out wide, the wingers or wide men became important to the press as they could stop the ball from coming back inside, and this caused panic in the opponent's defence and forced errors. For the minor details, Johan Cruyff was fascinated by angles and triangles, but not just in football. In football, he felt the more triangles you have, the more options to play. But he also didn't like them on the same lines. So for example, with the triangle between the defensive midfielder and the two central midfielders, the defensive midfielder would be deeper to avoid all three midfielders being out of the game if one had lost the ball. 3-4-3 wasn't the only system Cruyff used, and the 4-3-3 he predominantly used before introducing the 3-4-3, and it was in the 4-3-3 we got to see him use the inverted wingbacks. He could also form a diamond using the 4-3-3, but he felt it lacked width once the diamond was formed, and the 3-4-3 gave him more triangles and diamonds to play with. But unfortunately, that wraps up my tactical analysis on Johan Cruyff's 3-4-3 formation. I hope you've enjoyed that part, but we are now going to go into Football Manager and look at the tactic that we have created. We are going to check the results. I did test this with Barcelona, of course, the team that he coached. But to make sure the tactic was working, I also did a very small test with Liverpool. It done very well. I just wanted to test it with the best league in my opinion, and I wanted to see how it held up. It held up well, but we are now going to check the results used with Barcelona. So first of all, we have 3 tactics. 2 of them are the same, one of them is the 4-3-3. So here we have the 3-4-3. The next is also a 3-4-3, but this is more suited for the out and out striker. So what I have done is put the attacking midfielder on the support duty and gave the striker role the advanced forward role. And in the third tactic is the 4-3-3 formation, which was hardly used. I mainly focused on the main tactic. So for the main tactic, in goal we do have the sweeper keeper on support. He's also going to help form a triangle, and he has to be calm and comfortable on the ball himself. In defence, the left back, we have a fullback on the support duty, and he is going to cross less often. But mainly he is going to provide the width alongside the fullback on the defend duty, but he is going to provide the width and look to play some nice angled balls into central midfield or even down the flank to the inside forward. For the right back, we have the fullback on the defend duty. His instruction is to cross less often also. The reason why he's on the defend duty and the left back is on the support duty is when we break or when we have possession higher up the pitch and we lose it, the opponents then have the opportunity to make a counter attack. With the fullback on the defend duty, this can give us an extra number in defence. In central defence, we have a ball playing defender on the cover duty. I'm trying to replicate the libero here. I did want to use a libero, but again, very dangerous not having a central defender on a defend duty. So we do have a ball playing defender on the cover duty. He will hold his position and close down less often. In defensive midfield, we have a deep lying playmaker on the support duty. He will hold his position in midfield, and he's going to be the hub, allowing the team or the rest of the team to move around him. Ahead of him, we have our central midfielder. He's going to take more risk, help him feed the balls into the more advanced players. And to the right side of him, we have the Mazzala on the support duty. He is going to be our engine, trying to operate and close down further higher up the pitch and also make the channels in behind if the false 9 does decide to drop. He will be taking fewer risks because during the test, he did play too many risky balls and lost possession a lot. And on top of the diamond, we do have an attacking midfielder on the attack duty. His instruction is to play more direct passes and also to move into the channels. Again, because the false 9 may drop, we want the attacking midfielder then to penetrate that gap and also move into the channels. On the left hand side, we have the inside forward on the support duty. He's going to support the false 9, the attacking midfielder and the Mazzala in penetrating the opponent's defence. But he will hold his position and stay wider, trying to maintain that width. On the right is similar. He will stay wider, but with the attacking duty, we cannot ask him to hold his position. But he will stay wider, trying to stretch the play. But lastly, we do have the false 9, the person that I like to call the troublemaker, because he won't be acting as the typical striker. He will be dropping deeper, just causing trouble for the opponent's defense. So for the team instructions, for the mentality, we have gone with the positive mentality. The attacking width is set to wide, so we are going to be stretching the play. The approach play, we are going to pass into the space, so once we do break and the players are making their forward movements, we can get the ball into the path of those players. We are going to play out of defense, of course, that's basically a given. For the passing directness, we have left it on standard, it's on 50%. We are not just passing for passing's sake. And for the tempo, we have a higher tempo, trying to cause havoc, trying to cause trouble for the opponent's defense, but also we want to play some nice one-touch football. In the final third, we have gone for the low crosses and we are going to work the ball into the box. In transition, when the possession has been lost, we will be making our counter press movements. When the possession has been won, we don't really have an instruction there. And when the goalkeeper is in possession, he will distribute it to the centre backs by taking short kicks. For the defensive shape, we are using the offside trap. We do have a much higher line of engagement. We are trying to stop the opponents from playing out of the defence, and our defence line is on higher. The defensive width is force the opposition outside because that's exactly what we want to do, and the pressing intensity is set to more urgent with prevent short goalkeeper distribution, again trying to make it much more difficult for the opponents to play out from the defence. For the second tactic, the instructions are the same, the only difference is the attacking midfielder is now on the support duty and the striker is now an advanced forward. For the 4-3-3, we do have two inverted wing backs in defence. We have a ball playing defender who is going to cover, but we also have a central defender on the defend duty. In central midfield, not much has changed, but we now have a box-to-box midfielder instead of the central midfielder. On the left flank, it's the inverted winger on support instead of the inside forward on support, and on the right side, it's the inside forward on attack instead of the inside winger on attack. I know I've mixed up my words somehow, but we're just going to roll with it. But that is the tactic. We are now going to check the result. So in the competitions for the La Liga, we won the La Liga. In the Champions League, we got knocked out in the quarterfinals by Borussia Mönchengladbach, which is a huge disappointment. In the Spanish Super Cup, we managed to win that. And in the Spanish Cup, we got knocked out in the 5th round by Atletico Madrid. But in the La Liga, if we check, we played 38, we won 31, which is very good. We drew 4 and we lost 3. Those 3 losses came away, which was a 5-0 defeat away to Real Madrid, a 3-1 defeat to Getafe, and a 3-1 defeat to Atletico Madrid. We did manage to score 91 goals, 13 of those against Granada, and we conceded 36 of those to Real Madrid. And we did have a goal difference of plus 61. For the team statistics, you can see that average possession for Barcelona, we came first with 62%. We scored the most goals with the highest expected goals for. We scored the most goals from direct free kicks. We created 96 chances, but Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid created more. We did have the most shots at goal. We had the most shots per game. The fouls against us was the most. We made the most dribbles and we completed the most dribbles per 90. The top scorer in the league was Lionel Messi with 23 goals. Lionel Messi also had the most assists in the league, so what a player he was this year. So did Pjanic and so did Frankie de Jong. The most player of the match awards was Messi with 9, Pjanic also with 6. But for the interceptions made, we can see Sergi Roberto with 86, Gerard Piqué with 69. Lionel Messi scored the most penalties, 6 in 9. The games won, well, it's all of us. Shots per 90, Messi got 3.97. Messi was our false 9, by the way. Messi had the most expected goals. He had the best goals per 90, and he also had the second best average minutes per goal. So, just looking at our team, we can see that Messi scored the most goals with 27 goals. Griezmann coming in second with 15. Coutinho scored 14, which is decent. And Ansu Fati also scored 12. Pedri managed to get 11 goals to his name. Pjanic also managed to get 10 goals to his name. Pjanic got 12 assists in all competitions. Frankie de Jong got 14. And Lionel Messi managed to get 16. For the team report, you can see we were very aggressive in our shooting and we were slightly clinical. For our defensive efficiency, if we check, we were quiet, but we were on the leaky side and not on the impenetrable side, and only one central defender. We can see why it was leaky once the opponents got in behind our defense. Most of our goals were scored by play shots, 13 were powerful shots, 15 were free kicks, 8 were penalties. When it comes to assists, 31 were through balls, 11 were crosses, 7 from the opposition mistakes, 8 from short passes and 9 from free kicks. But what we are going to do lastly, we are now going to check the training schedule. So now let's go into schedules, custom. For some reason it's not there. So here, when there was one match during the week, you can see on the Monday, it's all about teamwork, ball retention and team bonding. Tuesday, we're practicing playing from the back and transitional press. On the Wednesday, it's all about chance creation before the match practice. And on the Thursday, we have defending engaged, attacking patiently, teamwork. And then on Friday, we do have our attacking movement. When there was 2 matches during the week, very similar. On the Monday, it's all about teamwork and team bonding, but we also have play out from the back. On Tuesday, it's about attacking movement and defensive shadow play. On the Thursday, we are doing a recovery and a match review about the match on the Wednesday. On the Friday, it's all about attacking movement, attacking patiently before the match on Saturday. And then lastly, on Sunday, it's the match review and recovery. But that wraps up this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the delay. If you know my story, me and the missus have just given birth to our second child just 2 days ago of recording this on the 10th of March. So this video is for her. It's also a tribute to Johan Cruyff, so rest in peace. I will speak to you guys soon. But also, if you are enjoying my content, make sure you like this video, you subscribe to the video and leave a comment. Don't forget, if you also want to support your non-league club, make sure you check out the link in my description. My name is RDF. It's been a pleasure. I will see you soon because my little boy right now is staying up. He wants to be picked up. I will see you guys soon. Peace out and stay safe.